Alright, my love, it is time to continue with The Light Princess. We're not going to finish chapter 14 because it's a really long chapter. But, here we go. Chapter 14. This is very kind of you. The prince went to dress for the occasion, for he was resolved to die like a prince. When the princess heard that a man had offered to die for her, she was so transported that she jumped off the bed, feeble as she was, and danced about the room for joy. She did not care who the man was, that was nothing to her. The whole wanted stopping, and if only a man would do it, why, take one. In an hour or two more everything was ready. Her maid dressed her in haste, and they carried her to the side of the lake. When she saw it, she shrieked and covered her face with their hands. They bore her across the stone where they had already placed a little boat for her. The water was not deep enough to float it, but they hoped it would be before long. They laid her on cushions, placed in the boat wines and fruits, and other nice things, and stretched a canopy over all. In a few minutes the prince appeared. The princess recognized him at once, but did not think it worthwhile to acknowledge him. "Here I am," said the prince. "Put me in." "They told me it was a shoe-black," said the princess. "So I am," said the prince. "I blacked your little boots 3 times a day because they were all I could get out of you. Put me in." The courtiers did not resent his bluntness, except by saying to each other that he was taking it out in impudence. But how was he to be put in? The golden plate contained no instructions on this point. The prince looked at the hole, but saw only one way. He put both legs into it, sitting on the stone, and stooped forward, covering the corner that remained open with his 2 hands. In this uncomfortable position he resolved to abide his fate, and turning to the people said, "Now you can go." The king had already gone home for dinner. "Now you can go," repeated the princess after them, like a parrot. The people obeyed her and went. Presently a little wave flowed over the stone and wetted one of the prince's knees, but he did not mind much. He began to sing, and the song he sang went like this. As a world that has no well, darkly bright in forest dell, as a world without the gleam of downward going stream, as a world without the glance of the ocean's fair expanse, as a world where never rain glittered on the sunny plain, such, my heart, thy world would be, if no love did flow in thee. As a world without the sound of the rivulets underground, or the bubbling of the spring out of darkness wandering, or the mighty rush and flowing of the rivers downward going, or the music showers that drop on the outspread beach's top, or the ocean's mighty voice when his lifted waves rejoice. Such, my soul, thy world would be, if no love did sing in thee. Lady, keep thy world's delight, keep the waters in thy sight. Love hath made me so strong to go for thy sake to realms below, where the waters shine and hum, though the darkness never come. Let, I pray, one thought of me spring a little well in thee, lest thy loveless soul be found like a dry and thirsty ground. "Sing again, prince, it makes it less tedious," said the princess. But the prince was much too overcome to sing any more, and a long pause followed. "That is very kind of you, prince," said the princess at last, quite coolly, as she lay in the boat with her eyes shut. "I am sorry I can't return your compliment," thought the prince, "but you are worth dying for after all." Again a wavelet and another flowed over the stone, and wetted both the prince's knees, but he did not speak or move. 2, 3, 4 hours passed in this way, the princess appeared apparently asleep, and the prince very patient. But he was much disappointed in his position, for he had none of the consolation he had hoped for. At last he could bear it no longer. "Princess," said he. But at the moment up started the princess, crying, "I'm afloat! I'm afloat!" and a little boat bumped against the stone. "Princess," repeated the prince, encouraged by seeing her wide awake and looking eager at the water. "Well," said she, without looking around, "your papa has promised that you should look at me, and you haven't done so once." "Did he? Then I suppose I must. But I am so sleepy." "Sleep then, darling princess, and don't mind me," said the poor prince. "Really, you are very good," replied the princess. "I think I will go to sleep again." "Just give me a glass of wine and a biscuit first," said the prince, very humbly. "With all my heart," said the princess, and gaped as she said it. Well, she got the wine and the biscuit, however, and leaning over the side of the boat towards him, was compelled to look at him. "Why, prince," she said, "you don't look well. Are you sure you don't mind it?" "Not a bit," answered he, feeling very faint indeed. "Only I shall die before it is of any use to you, unless I have something to eat." There then, said she, holding out the wine to him. Ah, you must feed me. I dare not move my hands, the water would run away directly. Good gracious, said the princess, and she began at once to feed him with the bits of biscuit and sips of wine. As she fed him, he contrived to kiss the tips of her fingers now and then. She did not seem to mind it one way or another, but the prince felt better. Now for your own sake, princess, I cannot let you go to sleep. You must sit and look at me, or else I will not be able to keep up. Well, I will do anything to oblige you, answered she, with condescension, and sitting down she looked at him, and kept looking at him with wonderful steadiness, considering all things. Alright, I think that suits it for this chapter. We're on page 100, and there is a little picture here, so you can have a look at that, of the princess feeding him biscuits. Although it wasn't quite at his head yet. That might be a spoiler. Either way, I love you dearly. Sleep well, keep calm, find a llama, carry on, and I will read you again tomorrow, and we will also Skype tomorrow evening. So, sleep well, vegan lad. I love you.